Hi, I will show you what EMEhealth is and how it works. EMEhealth is a clinical management system for hospital emergency departments. It was created by Cabo Labs, healthcare informatics, and I will show you how it works. So I will log in to the application. As a doctor, there are two different roles, the clinical role and the administrative role. I will show you both. So when you access the application, the idea is to show you as a doctor, as a nurse, what is happening right now in the emergency department of your hospital, but without giving you all the detailed information that you don't need at a glance to know what is happening right now. So in the first screen, what you see is all the cases that are active right now in your emergency department, all the patients, the reason for the encounter, if there is a triage, the color for the triage, also the current physical location of each patient, and the time each patient spent in the emergency department. So this is counting from the admission of the patient until now. And also you can see this will update automatically the time, and also you will see the orders and the type of order and in which status each order is, so you don't forget to do something to the patient, so we avoid to forget orders that are never done and never complete, or also to make mistakes in not doing something that should be done to the patient, like a procedure. So we use, small comment about the orders, we use a color code to know which type of order it is. So for example, for imaging we have green, for laboratory we have orange, for monitoring we have another color, for example fluid therapy we have a different color, etc. And for procedures also we have a different color. Also the border allow us to know at a glance in which state this order is. For example, if it doesn't have an order, this order is pending. If it has a border at the bottom, the order will be active, so it's currently being executed. And if it has a full border, it is completed, so you know what is not started yet, started, or completed at a glance. That is the basic information. And you will have here all the patients in your emergency department. Here we have just some test data to show you some test cases. So first key idea of EMEhealth is to know what is happening right now in the emergency department without giving you every single detail about every single patient. So you know what is happening with just one screen. If you want to dig into some detail of what is happening, so for example you want to go to this patient, you just click on this patient, and you will see a little bit of more detail about this specific patient. And for example, you can see the summary of the patient, you can get personal information. This information, we can get this from the admission system, from the current hospital information system, or this can be standalone in this application. So we can integrate with what you have in the emergency department, in the admission, in the hospital information system. We can integrate with the systems that are currently running and with the data that is currently in your hospital information system. The reason for encounter will be part of the admission, of course. The triage, if this case has a triage, it will appear here. And also we can get information from the current EHR of the patient about relevant items from the history. This is just sample information. We are not integrating right now with anything, but it is possible. Then you have the order management section. This is to allow to know in which status each order is, and to know, of course, all the orders that are currently associated with this case, this patient. Yeah. For example, you can see here the green box and says X-ray. So we have here the details about the X-ray. And as I told you before, we can see the status by looking at the border of this small green box. If I move this order, for example, from pending to active, it will ask me about some information. So here I can log, for example, what I did to this patient and why I moved this to active. For example, this is an X-ray, so I can say I moved the patient blah 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 to the X-ray or radiology department or radiology area of my emergency department, and I can do a log there. Yeah, and you can see here automatically the border at the bottom appears, so you know at a glance. If you are not seeing this second column, you know in which state this order is. And if I move this order to done, I can also record the result is available, blah blah blah. I can do a small log there. You will see the border automatically is complete. Yeah, so you know at a glance this order was completed, so you can't forget. Also, we can send notifications about the pending orders if the order wasn't executed in a time frame. Yeah, that depends on each hospital internal rules. Yeah, but that could be done. Also, we have the physical location management for this patient. And one detail is, if you want to go to another level of detail, you can click on the order, and you can see actually the information about the order, but also each status change for this order. So I can see that 2 hours ago this order was created. Right now this order was moved to active, and right now I moved to done because I moved first to active and then to done. And I can see the log, and I can see which user has moved this order, yeah, to a new status. Yeah, so you can actually do some tracking of what was happening with this specific order, and this works for all the orders in the system. Yeah. Then the movements, as I said, physical locations for the patient. Right now this patient is on box 1. Yeah, if I want to, for example, I need to move this patient to the surgery area, and I have 2 surgery areas in the emergency department. This is just sample. We can adapt this for the physical structure of each department. Yeah, and I can also log. I move the patient, blah blah blah. Yeah, I can do a small log there. So the patient right now will be on the surgery area 1, and if I also click on this, I can see all the movements, so I can track the patient on the physical locations that the patient was before this moment. So at this moment, I know I moved the patient because this is 0 minutes ago. Yeah, 2 hours ago, or almost 3 hours ago, it was moved to box 1. 3 hours ago, it was on triage, and this is almost 3 hours and 20 minutes ago, it was on the waiting room. Yeah, we are this is in Spanish, but we are translating the application right now to English. Yeah, and if you don't need this detail, you can go back here. Yeah, history is about getting information from the current EHR. So if your hospital has an EHR, we can integrate with your EHR and get information that is useful in the emergency department for this patient. So based on the patient ID or the EHR ID, we can get the information. We are experts on healthcare information systems integration and data integration, clinical data integration. So we can move data between systems without problems. And if you already have an EHR, it will be way easier to move information here. So we can show relevant information to the doctors actually working in the emergency department. So for example, we can get chronic conditions, yeah, from the EHR. So it is important that, for example, the doctor treating this patient knows if this patient has HIV, for example. Yeah. Medications, allergies, we can get all this information from the EHR, and we can integrate this into the emergency application. Yeah. Also for laboratory, we can integrate results This is just sample data. We can integrate the results. We can show the details also. Here, this is all sample data because we are not integrating this with any system right now, but it is possible that we get the information from an analyzer or the laboratory information system of the hospital. Yeah, we can get the information and show the information here. Yeah. Also for imaging, if you have a PACS system in your hospital, we can integrate with the PACS. We can get the images. We can show the images in the web. For example, here we have a sample image of an X-ray, thorax X-ray. We can do this integration. We can show the images, and we can also show the reports. Yeah, because we can integrate, if the reports are available on the PACS, we can integrate that with the emergency department EMR. And on this section, the episode is actually the clinical record. So here, for example, if this patient didn't have a triage already recorded, I can come here and create a new triage, for example. Yeah, and these are forms, and we can create, adapt, we can change these forms in whatever form you need. Yeah, so this is a sample process. For example, triage, we added some coronavirus symptom screening here form. So the current situation needs this, and we are working on adding more forms related with the coronavirus. Yeah, so this is for the symptoms. We can add this in hours. We can add new forms or change current forms in hours. We can add fields, remove fields, whatever you need. Yeah, we have also evolution. We can record a diagnosis, some vital signs. For example, if for trauma patients, it is normally to follow the ABCDE process, and we have, of course, forms for each step of the process. For example, I will show you neurological state. We have here the Glasgow Coma scale. It's just point and click, point and click, point and click. Yeah, and you will see this is too bright right now, but here there is a number showing. We need to correct that. But there is the calculation of the Glasgow Coma scale, and that is then recorded in the EHR of the patient. And if you recorded some information for a form, you will see this little eye here. If you click on the eye, you will see this is some error due to the translation that we are working right now. That here I will show you, for example, the triage that works perfectly. This is just the information already recorded for that form. Yeah, so you can see what was recorded. Another key aspect of this tool, besides knowing what is happening right now in the emergency department and what orders are pending, so order management is a basic feature of this tool. Another thing that we want to do is to improve the communication between the health information team. Yeah, so we know that there are many clinical teams in emergency departments that are using informal tools to exchange clinical information about the patients and to communicate while working in the emergency department. So they are using a lot of emergency department staff are using WhatsApp, for example, to communicate. So we integrated a chat. This is a real-time communication tool that is actually associated with each case, with each patient. So any user that logs into EMEhealth and selects a patient will be on the chat associated with that specific patient. Yeah, so if I enter with another user on this specific patient, you will see the name of the other doctor, of the other user here, and you can actually chat about this patient. So you can ask, for example, a nurse why an order that was pending for 2 hours wasn't executed, for example. You can do that. Yeah, and everything will be recorded in the EHR of that patient, in the case record of that specific patient. Yeah, so I can add here chat, and the other users will see the chat and they can exchange. And this is a multi-user chat. Yeah, if I have 3, 4, 5, 10 users at the same time looking at this patient, everyone will see and can talk about this patient and will see the messages here. Yeah, and also the historical message. And if I change patient, the chat will change. If I go back to the patient, I will see the history of chat messages there. Yeah, and if I close the case, I can just record a summary there. Yeah, I won't record anything, just put some dummy text there. But just to show you how a case is closed, yeah, it will be removed from the open cases, and then you can go to the closed cases, and if you click on that, you will see a small report. This is a small report with basic information, but the idea of this is to know step by step what was done to this patient, to this case. Yeah, so from minute zero is when the admission was done. Yeah, and you know that, for example, the patient is James Holman, and which user was or did the admission. Yeah, the first movement happened 2 minutes after the admission, yeah, to the waiting room. 8 minutes after the admission, it was triaged. Then the triage was recorded. This is the record of a triage form. Then it was moved to the box 1, yeah, and a form was, this is the evolution form, was recorded. So basic vital sign information and some diagnosis, if a diagnosis is available, yeah, at that time. And you can see, for example, here also we integrated to this report the chat messages. So every message sent to the chat will appear here. Yeah, because the messages exchanged by clinical staff are also part of the care process for that patient, so it should appear here. And the chat shouldn't be used for talking about personal stuff. That WhatsApp is for that. This is for clinical care, and this is for exchanging information about this specific case. So we have all the information, and we can create different reports. This is a very basic report just to show you what is possible. Yeah, and I will show you just in a second how this is the clinical application, how the administrative application looks like. Yeah. So remember that we are translating the application, so some terms might be in Spanish. So this is an administrative dashboard. Yeah, we can show, because we have all the data, we can show any indicators that you want here on the top. We can show here, this is just a chart of the cases for the last 12 months. Yeah, since I have just some 5 cases and our sample cases created today, I just see 1 point. But if you have more information, you will see a chart here. Also the triage categories here, and the number of cases for each category here. Yeah, and this is just a sample of a live data chart. Yeah, we can add more charts, indicators here, also reports, whatever you need. Yeah, because we have all the information. And if you go to reports, for example, you can see a similar report that you saw for closed cases, but this also can access open cases. So I can go here, for example, this case was closed, and this is the case that I show you on the clinical side. It's the same information, and here we can add more information if you need here to look at more information, or we can create other kinds of reports because we have all the data. Yeah, and very basic user management. Here, this manages the clinical users, that could be doctors, nurses, other clinical staff, and the administrative users that have access to this administrative dashboard. Yeah, this is what we currently have. And also, just to show you what is possible, this works on mobile. So just to show you, I will simulate in my browser here a mobile application. Yeah, so I will just log in with my clinical user. And this is how the application looks like in a mobile phone, for example. This works very well on tablets and smartphones. Yeah, this is like a smartphone screen, so vertical. So you will see the same cases, the same information, just organized in a different way because the screen is just smaller. Yeah. If you click on one case that is open, you will see all the same information, just organized in a different way. So you will see the summary there, orders. For example, here I can add a new order. Yeah, I can add an hemogram, for example. Say I want this hemogram, the clinical information related to the hemogram is this, blah blah blah. Yeah, so the order is created and is pending, actually pending, and you can filter by active and done also here. Yeah, and if you go back, you will see the hemogram that is pending there. Yeah, as I said, we use color codes for this. The orange is for laboratory tests. Yeah, so movements is the same as in the web version, in the big screen version. History is the same information, just organized in a different way. Instead of opening new columns to the right, like we did in the big screen version, in the small screen version, when you click on something, it will open a new screen, and you need to go back, yeah, to go to the previous screen. And if I go to episode, I can see also the forms, and you can see, for example, forms to enter information, or you can just use the mobile application to access what is currently recorded there. Yeah, so I can see what was recorded in this case for the triage. Yeah, and always the information about the patient is visible, so you are contextualized about the patient information. You know in which patient you are, and also from the mobile application you have the chat available. Yeah, and I can send chat messages. I can see the history of chat from each user, etc. Yeah. So this is what we have right now. Everything that you see here can be integrated with what you have in the hospital currently, and could be modified as you need. So any data that you see, any screen, any form can be modified. We can add, we can remove, etc. Yeah, and we are planning to, based on this application, on several modules that could be reused, also to make a small application for hospitalized patients. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this demo. If you want more information, you can go to EMEhealth.com. yeah, and you can here read more information. You can ask for a personal demo. If this demo wasn't detailed enough, we can have a one-to-one demo, and I will show you all the details. Yeah, and all the integration and extension points. Yeah, no problem about that. So let me know if you find this useful. Just let me know. If you have any questions, just drop me a line. You can go here to the contact form, yeah, emehealth.com, and you can go to the contact form, and I will receive your messages. And this year we are looking for a hospital to pilot this system. So if you want to pilot the system, you want to partner with us for a pilot, we want to have the opportunity to show what we can do and to test this system in a real environment, and to adapt this to the needs of a hospital. Yeah, so we are in the process of doing some small improvements, translations, etc., and looking for a pilot hospital. So if you want to partner with us, just let me know. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.